So if you're planning to sell a business with the legal structure of a sole proprietorship, how do you go about doing that, and how do you make sure it's properly sold and everything is transferred over? Well, if you're going to do that, I would generally recommend getting some assistance from professionals. That could be a commercial real estate agent that sells businesses. That could be a business broker, potentially getting an accountant involved and a lawyer. And you may need multiple professionals to assist with this. Now, if you are going to sell it, obviously you want to figure out the terms and the price and, possession date and things like that. And that's something you can sort out with who's ever assisting you to what makes sense for yourself and your business. However, when it actually comes to the process of canceling your business or shutting things down or properly transferring them, there's a number of important things you want to do. And this can very much depend on the industry, the nature of the business, and the jurisdiction. So I can't speak, for every individual here, every jurisdiction. This is just for general education purposes. But for starters, with a sole proprietorship, that is basically just a human entity that's engaging in business activity. And oftentimes they will have a business name or what's called a trade name registered. So if you are a sole proprietor with a trade name and you're selling your business, and the person who's buying it wants to keep the same business name, then typically you have to go to your business registry in your province or your state or whatever region and cancel that business name so that it becomes free and available for the new sole proprietor to take over that. And now the next step would be canceling your municipal business license or at least transferring it. And this can depend again on the municipality. Some might just let you transfer it to a new owner. Others might want the original owner to cancel their license and then have the new owner reapply. And likewise with other licenses or permits, like if you have a restaurant permit or a liquor license or something like that, you want to check with the governing body and see if you can just transfer it to a new owner or if you just need to cancel it. Now, if you are the seller in this case, you'll probably want to close down a bunch of other accounts. And that would be things like a payroll account, a GST account, a PST account for those operating in Canada. And with a sole proprietorship, typically you're actually going to have to cancel those, not just transfer them, because they're so tied to the human entity. So typically you can't just transfer over a GST account from one human entity to another. So that new buyer, if they're setting up as a sole proprietorship, they need to open a new GST account and a new payroll account that's tied to them. Whereas it's different for a corporation, and I'll cover that in a different video. But so make sure you shut down those accounts, especially when you're actually finished with them and everything is settled, and it will be on the new owner to set up new accounts. Now, another thing would be the bank account. Eventually you want to close down the bank account, again, once everything is settled, because that bank account, even if it's a business bank account with your business name, it's connected to you, the human entity, and therefore you can't transfer it to a new sole proprietor. Now, some other things to consider would be like workers' compensation insurance and other business insurance. In some cases, you might be able to transfer those over to a new business owner, but I think oftentimes you're just going to have to cancel those accounts or cancel those policies and then let the new owner start a new workers' compensation account and insurance policy. But you can always check, maybe the new owner would prefer to take over an insurance policy or at least get documents of past workers' compensation insurance records. Now, when it comes to things like a website and social media accounts, if you want to transfer those, you can, including a Google business profile. I think those can be really valuable assets, especially if you have a really good website and a Google business profile that has many reviews, especially good reviews. A purchaser of your business might want to include those in the sale, and that could increase the value of your business. So if that's the case, you wouldn't want to shut down your website or your Google business account, Google business profile rather, or social media accounts. You'll just want to transfer those over to the new owner. And then lastly, you'll just want to review all this stuff and make sure that it's been wound down properly, shut down, transferred, making sure you've paid employees, paid your sales tax, paid your income tax and things like that, especially before shutting down everything like a business bank account, for example. So there can be a lot of things to do here when selling your sole proprietorship, but it is important to review all these administrative things, not only to make sure that the new owner can take over properly, but just to make sure that you're covered, that you've paid off any debts and closed any of these accounts, that you're not having to pay ongoing fees or run into, penalties for not, remitting sales tax when, you really don't have to anymore if you've discontinued the business from your perspective. And so again, because that sole proprietorship business is so tied to the human entity, you'll really want to shut down those accounts or properly transfer them. It's quite a bit different than a corporation. So hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please click like and feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel here, where I currently have over 225 videos that cover business management and business startup topics.